Happy birthday, Flesh and Blood. On October 10th, 2019, Legend Story Studios unleashed the Flesh and Blood trading card game onto the world to an anxious audience of nobody, of zero. Nobody gave a shit. That was a thing. But since then, Legend Story Studios has found a home and found a place and expanded to over 2,000 stores across the world. And not only are they pissing off Magic and Pokemon and the big competitors out there, but they're also getting those players to take a look at the game and realize it's actually really fucking good. Yeah. So I figured that there's no better way to celebrate a birthday than with a nice cold beer and some constructive fucking criticism. My name is Joe, this is Decks and Drafts, and here's my top 5 list of things I'd like to see before Flesh and Blood turns 3. Couple things before we begin. It's been a while. I had a really busy last couple of weeks, work-wise, life-wise, but I've also been working on the Learn to Play kit. You guys might know that I have kind of a document out there that helps with bulk deck lists, as well as some half-page hero guides, so new players can kind of get an understanding of how to play heroes, or how to play heroes that they might get an intro deck for. So if you're passionate about growing your community, or maybe you just have way too much bulk and you need to get the hell out of the house, check out the link that's in the description, and that'll give you some really good ideas for it. Also, I've been working on the Patreon a little bit. I got some really cool swag in. I got some coasters in. I'm working on getting pint glasses finally. I've got a whole lot of other cool ideas, and it would really go a long way in supporting me, my channel, and the things that I'm trying to do for the community. So patreon.com/decksanddrafts. I've got so many wonderful supporters so far, and I'd love to add to that and give you guys super awesome shout outs that I will one day remember to actually do on the channel. Hi, Editing Joe here. Here's the thing, I really want to get better at helping the Patreon guys out. So the way that we're going to do this game is that every time that I forget, I'm going to do a shot at Jame-o. And this is my whiskey, like it's whiskey finished in craft beer barrels, which is kind of funny given that I drink so much craft beer that's aged in whiskey barrels. This is whiskey finished in craft beer barrels. There's something to appreciate about the irony of that. So every time that I screw up, and I don't mention the great people who have helped me out, I'm going to take a shot of this. Now, I've screwed this up 16 times, as I have 16 Patreon members, and I'm not taking 16 shots. I'm just going to take one. You might say, that seems like a win. No, my day starts at 6 a.m. and it's 10:17 p.m. This sucks for me. I'm not excited. So anyway, big thank you, as of this, to Joshua, my best man, Josh, I'm not going to go last names, Josh, Sid, Dummy TCG, it's been a while since we've chatted. Tom, my buddy out in the UK, who we do a podcast for professional things. Tyler over at Smetchrat Games. Michael, Carly at Manavault Games. Adheesh, I hope I said your name right. Meskrat Tuck, who I forgot what your actual name was, but that's what you gave me. Justin, Todd, Eric, good old Louie over at Kitchen Table TCG. Kyle and James over at Fabled Collections. That's a different Kyle. Lucas and Rick. Thank you guys so much for all of the support. And that's my Patreon list so far. Don't expect that list every fucking time. I'll probably put it as a scroll. But cheers. Thank you so much. I know it's a Dave and Buster's shot glass. And that's what I get for not doing this right. So that's Editing Joe. Just jumping in real quick. I don't do whiskey enough. Anyway, back to the show. They're in the documents. Also, lastly, beer. Let's go over it. This is River Horse Brewing out in New Jersey. This is a triple called the Triple Horse, Belgian style ale with spices. You know, so if you're unfamiliar with New Jersey is the gag, the running joke is that they are the armpit of America. There actually was a whole campaign that said New Jersey doesn't stink. NewJerseyDoesn'tStink.com. Editing Joe again. It's been like 2 seconds. So that's not a site that exists anymore. It used to be JerseyDoesn'tStink.com. They actually had coasters and the whole thing. It was like years ago. It was back when Cory Booker was relevant. So anyway, that's not a thing. But it was, in fact, a thing. They had a logo and they had a thing. I'll pop it up on the screen. So don't look for it. It's not a thing. But New Jersey Doesn't Stink was very much a thing. The website isn't anymore. Sorry about that. It was weird. But, yeah, so you would think, like, New fucking Jersey, they wouldn't have good beer. And this beer is phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan. It's also got a big hippo. Anyway, Pie class for today is way too big for a 12 ouncer. This is River North's Oktoberfest because it's October and Oktoberfest. But that is what those should look like right there. God, I think this is unfiltered too. Anyway, that's what we got for the beer. That was way too long. Sorry about that. Let's get into that list. I didn't even drink the thing. I should drink the thing, right? Ta-da! Anyway, number 5 on my list of things I'd like to see in the next year for Flesh and Blood. Pull back on your fascination with limited formats. I get it. In Monarch, they had this whole thing, the article of hidden talents, right? And it was the final piece of James White's vision of now we have talents, and it was built for limited formats. And let's be clear, it's a cool fucking formula. It really is. I love playing limited. I love playing sealed. I love playing draft in Flesh and Blood. But now that we've seen with the bans, and this is kind of the second time in a row that it's been a little bit weird, I feel the fascination with limited events has gone a little bit too far. A couple things need to happen. One, we know from the bans that they kind of forgot about the constructed stuff. Oops! You know, they banned Duskblade and said, we sort of didn't test that in Classic Constructed. And I have a feeling like they looked at Seeds of Agony and said, yeah, oh, crap, we did the same thing again. I get it. There's probably not a lot of time, not a lot of effort, not a lot, not tons of effort, not a lot of time to focus on kind of the other formats. But you did make a trading card game, not a limited card game or a sealed card game like fucking Keyforge that sucked. You gotta pull back. You gotta spend some time and think about how things are gonna work constructed. That is your bread and butter more than limited. And I know you want it to be the opposite direction, but you just can't. If you do want it to be that way, one, you haven't done great the last 2 sets. I honestly feel that Prism was a little bit too OP and limited for Monarch because she was the only one who didn't have RNG problems. Levia, you had to get enough 6 costs. Bolton, you had to get enough charge. Chain, you had to get enough blood debt. And Prism's just like, I got an attack. Whatever, it works. It's fine. I don't have to worry about the rest of this crap. I'm still functional regardless. I felt Prism was a little OP. This time we have Briar, and I don't think Briar is as OP, but it also looks like the reason Briar doesn't seem to be OP is because half the pool ends up taking the cards, and she's just spread too thin. But Briar, you have an unblockable damage source in a limited format. Guys, that seems like an easy one. I'm not sure what the thought. So you haven't exactly nailed your limited formats. Additionally, we're still waiting on Unlimited for Tails. Like, the fun and excitement of the limited formats, you kind of missed that boat with Unlimited. Like, I'm not waiting for Unlimited because I'm really excited to do draft. I did plenty of it because there was plenty of first edition out there. And I'm kind of, not like that I'm done, but I'm not anxiously awaiting for a month where I can't wait to do sealed or draft of Tales of Aria. No, I got to have plenty of fun with that. There's no new excitement that comes with Unlimited. That you missed that boat. You missed that boat. Pull back, guys. Pull back on the limited. Respect Classic Constructed. Focus on, that's a thing. That is a thing. Please remember to play test it. Please put some effort and emphasis and stop thinking that everything's going to be limited. That's not going to be where your success is. I know you want it to be. Stop. You've mastered the format. Pull back a little bit. Anyway, that was number 5. Pull back on limited. Put a little bit more effort and energy into Classic Constructed. That way you don't find yourself banning cards because the internet has figured out how they're broken. Oh yeah, I'm going to drink too. Number 4, I'm going to come at you with a wild one. Ban Kano and nix the wizard idea. Now, I know, you're probably looking at it saying, wait, Kano was, not really relevant and viable. Why the heck do you have problems with Kano? Well, here's the reason I have an issue with Kano. Kano, as just a concept with that much arcane damage coming in, kind of eliminates the ability to play the damn deck. I have to adjust all of my equipment to basically throw in Null Rune, and it's very clear that they don't want Arcane to be so fucking overpowered that you don't even need to defend against it, because we saw that in Tales of Aria, where you take it to the chin. And they're like, it shouldn't be such a big problem that you don't get anything for, that, or that you desperately need to defend it. I do wish they had more arcane defense, but I also don't like the idea of one specific hero that does so much of it and nothing else that you pretty much have to change literally everything about the game, and it just kind of sucks. I feel like Kano and Wizard locks you into design decisions that just don't make the game a lot of fun. Even if Kano isn't necessarily a big problem, Drone of Brutality wasn't a big problem, but it really went against design choices later on. I don't see this being a good thing. I don't see this getting any better as the game goes on. Kano has always been kind of a solitaire kind of player. You just really hope you get lucky and can just pull off a death turn before the opponent gets to do anything. That's not an interactive experience. That's fucking bullshit. I kind of want to see Kano just, you tried it. It didn't work. I don't think it worked. I don't think it was great. Stick with the rune blades. I don't mind if every arcane thing that you ever have are just rune blades. I think that I like the little chip arcane where there's a little bit of risk and reward. That's not, maybe I just win this turn. That's kind of fucking stupid. So I hope that we never see more Wizard, and I hope they just say, we're gonna let Kano fizzle off into nothingness. That would be kind of a good way to go, and I really think that it would just kind of help open the door for stuff where we just don't have to worry about how much of our deck and synergy do we have to throw away so we can fit in fucking null rune boots. We can do better. You can tell I'm doing this in pieces because I just had a sip of something. I'm going to have another one right now because it's really been a minute in real time. Fun behind the scenes info. Number 3. Talked a little bit about kind of the game, but now I want to talk a little bit about maturity of the business. Number 3, publish and support a clear, viable path for game stores, for new game stores to get into the game and enforce that shit with distributors. I've talked to enough LGSs because I have the Learn to Play kit, so I talked to plenty of people who are saying the distributor thing is a fucking nightmare. Of getting access and getting them to respond and all of this, and people don't exactly know where to start. They throw an email out to a distributor and say, I want this thing, and they're like, okay. I want to see LSS back something. I want to see something that says, this is what we are enforcing to ensure that people can get access to some sort of product, and then if they don't do it, they're going to call from Alan, or they're going to call from whomever, and they're going to yell, and it's going to be a problem. The thing that I've come to understand is that there are a lot of distributors and there are a lot of reps. Yes, they handle a lot of games. It's very, very difficult to kind of cover them all. But you got to have some sort of system. You got to have some sort of playbook that is just easy to follow. And I don't know if one exists. And if it does, Lord knows I've talked to enough store owners where they've just felt so in the dark. Haven't gotten response in weeks. Haven't gotten response ever. They got boxes, but now they want to talk about armory kits. And they don't know, are they supposed to run some events first? Do they have to run the Learn to Play or a welcome event? Do they have to do something? Some distributor reps say, you have to run 2 or 3. Some say, here's 2 kits, which they're not even allowed to get. It's a bit of a mess. There needs to be a playbook. It needs to be really fucking clear. And it needs to be backed by LSS. I don't know what kinds of punishment that you can give for not following suit, at least to the distributors and shit like that, but you gotta get stronger in that. It cannot be the scrimmage. You've got 2,000 plus stores that are getting into this game, and they keep coming. I've got 7 stores in Colorado looking to do Learn to Plays, and I didn't market to them once. They came to me, and they're still saying, we're a little nervous, though, because we can't get with the damn distributors. Fucking hell, it's going to cripple your game. We said it a year ago. Georgia can compete sports. It's basically a fucking drinking game with him. You gotta get better at it. And, there's nothing you can do. You can't do anything better than literally just putting it on a page and saying, this is what happens if this goes awry. Back it up. Get it on paper. That's number 3. You gotta be more inviting to new game stores. This criticism from years ago is still a thing. It needs to not be a thing. It is going to screw you up, especially as you really start having to put on the big boy pants. You gotta fix it. You gotta fix it. Number 2, and this one is near and dear to my heart. Puns. That's not the suggestion, by the way. Don't use puns. Number 2, engage with the community instead of at them. Now, I'm a marketing guy. I've been in marketing for 15 years for some of the largest companies in the world. Chances are you've got some shit in my inbox that I was responsible for, and I'm only so sorry, but I'm sorry. So marketing things are really important to me. Now, let's be really fair to Flesh and Blood and LSS. Their marketing team, whoever's behind it, has ramped it up to 11 in the last couple of months. We're starting to see consistency. We're starting to see engagement. We're starting to see invitation to communicate. That is so fucking important, and they're doing a great job with it. However, when it comes to LSS directly, specifically Legend Story Studios, not the brand of Flesh and Blood, Legend Story Studios, I still feel there's a bit of an ivory tower thing. And what I mean by this is right now we have the developer blitz tournaments going on and the deck techs and all that stuff. But it's people in an office, their office, and then they put a thing out and then that's it. There's no real back and forth. There's no real engagement. There's no really opportunity to kind of be a part of that conversation. We just kind of get talked at, kind of like I'm talking at you right now. And that's it. That's all that we get from LSS, and I feel that we can do better. The one exception to that is the Judge Hub with Joshua Scott, who's fantastic, but that's more of a functional thing, not a marketing thing. It's your 2-year anniversary. It's your 2-year birthday. Nothing, guys? For that, no live stream, no AMA, no opportunity to engage with the office. I felt like that was a golden opportunity. And if you want to see what this looks like, if you want to see the difference, take a look at how Tales of Aria was kind of released, and it was just, hey, it's out, it's cool, and we got some cool ideas, and off we go, and here's a tournament that you can watch, versus the Monarch pre-release. Remember that sealed event that the developers did, and we got to watch them build decks and watch them talk through it, and we were all in a live stream, and they were kind of communicating with us? It was a big fucking party. That was one of the coolest experiences I have ever been in, ever. And I want to see more of that. I want to see more of those types of things where we do get to talk to somebody from LSS who's kind of like the man on the inside. It doesn't have to be James. Honestly, it shouldn't be James. The same thing that I said about Assad and Genesis, where there's a point where kind of the CEO needs to not be the face because he's busy and has kind of a lot of more street cred than, a social presence. Even if you have like some face, hire some man on the inside to do like, hey, we want to engage with the community. We want to answer your questions. We want to do some cool things that shows that LSS, not the marketing team or the brand of Flesh and Blood, are listening. But I want some more direct engagement. I want to see more of that. I want to not be talked at by Legend Story, and I feel like right now that's kind of what's happening. We're just getting talked at. And I know that you don't have a lot of people. I know you don't have a lot of time, and that's going to lead me to number 1. And you can make the argument that this whole video was really just so I have an excuse to say number 1. And you might have an argument there. I still like my other 4, which, to recap, pull back on your fascination with Limited, ban Kano and Nyx the Wizard idea, publish and support a clear, viable path for LSSs to actually get the product, and then enforce that with distributors, and then most recently, number 2, engage with the community instead of at them. And that all leads to my big, holy shit, number fucking 1 with a bullet, which I'll get to in a sec. Cliffhangers! 2-second cliffhanger. Number 1. Again, with a bullet. Up here. Everything else, down here. Down in this area. Number 1. Number 1. I know I'm stalling. Get out of your goddamn 30-man New Zealand bubble. Like that. I get it. There's a lot of cool things to be said. That you created a game, you created a brand, a product, an IP, a whole thing, a force to be reckoned with in an industry that we thought was done. We thought that the 10 Commandments were written. Thou shalt basically just play fucking magic 10 times. And that was it for TCGs. And you have broken in and you have found some way to snap a tablet in half and rewrite the fucking thing. And that is so cool to do. And the fact that you did it with 30 people in New Zealand dealing with all of that is incredible. What an accomplishment. Again, happy fucking birthday and congratulations. Call it a fucking day. That's it. That's it. Be done with that. This right now, the struggle that you have is you have an entire world that is excited about your game and wants to get involved. You've got printers all over the world. You have distributors all over the world. And you've got 30 guys in New Zealand that are trying to manage the whole thing. And it's not working anymore. It's just not. It is scaled beyond that. Not to say that anybody over there is doing a bad job. You guys are doing a spectacular job. We don't know how you do it with so few people, and that's why this piece of feedback is to add people. We will gladly give you a little extra. I would hope that we've made you guys enough money that you can hire some extra staff, but get them around the world. Get them to Europe, get them to, Asia and the Polynesian Islands, and get them to North America, and get them around so they can participate in, you weren't even at Gen Con, guys. No presence there. Go there. Go do that stuff. Do trade events. Be able to host other trade shows and expand the game. Be able to have somebody who can get into the room and fly out to distributors when they're fucking idiots. See my number 3. And yell at them directly and get in a room and say, we're going to talk about this. We're going to figure things out and I want to see your operation. You have people who can operate on every time zone that can work with stores and work with issues. You've got the printers now. You can triage problems a heck of a lot better, but that's so hard to do when you're 30 guys in New Zealand. That's a problem. That's a struggle. The cat has chosen to make an appearance because she believes in this. The dog also did. That's kind of why that happened. But get out of the 30-man bubble. Hire more people. Hire them around the world. Get project managers. Get QA and get QC for the printers. There are a lot of issues that are really easy to solve if you have somebody in the room. And you should. I think that would do so much good for the game. There's a lot of pride to be said what you did. You know what? You did it. You will always be remembered for hitting 2,000 plus stores and scaring the industry with a 30-man force. But you got to put on the big boy pants. And for that, you kind of got to you got to hire out. I think it's going to go a really long way. I think it's unavoidable at this point. And if you don't do it, it's going to start to get noticed. We still see problems. There are still little things that could be easily fixed by having somebody there who's not asleep at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it would go a long way. Get out of your 30-man bubble. You proved your point. You did it with a small crowd. Hire, get bigger, and that's it. That's what I have for you. 5 things I'd like to see before Flesh and Blood turns 3. Naturally, I want to engage with you, and I want to hear your thoughts. Of course, if you have some feedback, be that about the game, stop with fucking rune blades, if that's something you want to say. Don't ever ban something before the set comes out. What are your thoughts, and what are the things that you would like to see either from a game or from LSS or Flesh and Blood, the brand, that would make maybe would mature them a bit more? I know one of the other things that was kind of on my short list, but I would love to see more lore. I would love to see PvE. Oh, give us PvE this year. Man, oh man, that'd be fantastic. Put out version 2 of the book. Of the lore book. Make the lore book more accessible. I want to buy something from Flesh and Blood that's not just the card game, honestly. Give me that. I think that'd be great. But those are some of my other small ideas. What do you have? What are your thoughts? What would you like to see Flesh and Blood, Legends Story, any of them do in the next year that just keeps up in the game and up in the bar and show them that they are a force that wants to be here for a long time, not just to shake up the card game industry, but to make a really cool fucking world that we have all very much enjoyed. I have also very much enjoyed this beer. I've enjoyed my time with you. I'm excited to bring a heck of a lot more content back. Like I said, it's been a really busy couple of weeks. But I got some great Azalea content coming. We're going to talk about the Rudy kit, and I've got a series of advertising and card game marketing things that I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for, and I'm really excited about it, but that's for another day. Anyway, share your thoughts and comments and feedback. Maybe LSS will watch. I don't know. Maybe it'd be kind of neat. Or maybe I'll just get yelled at a whole bunch. I'll take that too. But in the meantime, all of that aside, all of that feedback aside, one more time, happy birthday, Flesh and Blood. This is constructive feedback because I want to be a fan of you 5-10 years down the road. This has been one of the most fulfilling experiences I've ever had with a hobby. This is not something I ever thought I would do with Netrunner, or I literally couldn't with Star Wars CCG, or honestly any game. And I've tried. I tried a Twitch channel so I can play Final Fantasy XIV for 30 minutes and decide I want to do something else. It didn't go well. I am so thankful for you guys over there in New Zealand. I adore the game that you get. Again, happy birthday. Congratulations on all the amazing accomplishments. And I cannot wait to see more of you. I really can't. And I hope you're not offended by some of the ideas that I shared that might help you guys do that, in my opinion, a little bit better. But that's me, and that's all I've got. Cheers, mates. Have a good one.